Brought to you by WikiVD Documentaries. Jeff Healey. Norman Jeffrey. Jeff Healey was a Canadian jazz and blues rock vocalist, guitarist, and songwriter who attained musical and personal popularity, particularly in the 1980s and 1990s. He hit number 5 on the US Billboard Hot 100 chart with Angel Eyes, and reached the top 10 in Canada with the songs I Think I Love You Too Much and How Long Can a Man Be Strong. Early life. Born in Toronto, Ontario, Healey was raised in the city's West End. He was adopted as an infant. His adoptive father was a firefighter. When he was almost 1 year old, Healey lost his sight to retinoblastoma, a rare cancer of the eyes. His eyes had to be surgically removed, and he was given ocular prostheses. Early career and success. Healey began playing guitar when he was 3, developing his unique style of playing the instrument flat on his lap. When he was 15, Jeff Healey formed the band Blue Direction, a 4-piece which primarily played bar band cover tunes and featured bassist Jeremy Littler, drummer Graydon Chapman, and a schoolmate, Rob Quayle, on second guitar.
This band played various local clubs in Toronto, including the Colonial Tavern. Healey began hosting a jazz and blues show on radio station CIUT-FM, where he became known for playing from his massive collection of vintage 78 revolutions per minute gramophone records. Shortly thereafter he was introduced to 2 musicians, bassist Joe Rockman and drummer Tom Stephen, with whom he formed a trio, the Jeff Healey Band.
This band made their first public appearance at the Bird's Nest, located upstairs. It's Chicago's diner on Queen Street West in Toronto. They received a write-up in Toronto's Now magazine, and soon were playing almost nightly in local clubs, such as Grossman's Tavern and the famed blues club Albert's Hall. After being signed to Arista Records in 1988, the band released the album See the Light, featuring the hit single Angel Eyes and the song Hideaway, which was nominated for a Grammy Award for Best Rock Instrumental Performance.
While the band was recording See the Light, they were also filming the Patrick Swayze film Roadhouse. Healey had numerous acting scenes in the movie Swayze, as his band was the house cover band for the bar featured in the movie. In 1990, the band won the Juno Award for Canadian Entertainer of the Year. The albums Hell to Pay and Feel This gave Healey 10 charting singles in Canada between 1990 and 1994, including a cover of the Beatles' While My Guitar Gently Weeps, which featured George Harrison and Jeff Lynne on backing vocals and acoustic guitar.
Later work and life. By the release of the 2000 album Get Me Some, Healey began to concentrate his talent in a different musical direction closer to his heart, the appreciation for another original American music form, jazz. He went on to release 3 CDs of music of traditional American jazz from the 1920s and 1930s.
He had been sitting in with these types of bands around Toronto since the beginning of his music career. Though known primarily as a guitarist, Healey also played trumpet during live performances, his main jazz group for touring and recording being Jeff Healey's Jazz Wizards. Healey was an avid record collector and amassed a collection of well over 30,000 78 revolutions per minute records. Starting in 1990, he hosted a radio program of very early jazz on CIUT at the University of Toronto with Colin Bray. Later he went national on CBC Radio /S program entitled My Kind of Jazz.
in which he played records from his vast vintage jazz collection. He moved the show 2 years later to Jazz FM CJRT, as a part of ongoing celebrations for what would have been Healey's 50th birthday in 2016. The latter program began to air in repeats Wednesdays 9 p.m. on Jazz.fm. For many years, Healey toured throughout North America and Europe and performed at his club, Healey's, on Bathurst Street in Toronto, where he played with his blues band on Thursday nights and also with his jazz group on Saturday afternoons. The club moved to a bigger location at 56 Blue Jays Way and was rechristened Jeff Healey's Roadhouse. Though he had lent his name to the club and often played there, Jeff Healey did not own or manage the bar.
At the time of his death, he had been planning to perform a series of shows in the United Kingdom, Germany, and the Netherlands with his other band, the Jeff Healey Blues Band, in April 2008. Over the years, Healey toured and sat in with many legendary performers, including the Allman Brothers, Bonnie Raitt, Stevie Ray Vaughan, Buddy Guy, B.B. King, ZZ Top, Steve Lukather, Eric Clapton and many more.
In 2006, Healey appeared on Deep Purple vocalist Ian Gillan's CD/DVD, Gillan's In. Healey discovered and helped develop the careers of other musical artists, including Tara Hazelton and Amanda Marshall. In early 2009, Healey's album Mess of Blues won in the 8th Annual Independent Music Awards for Best Blues Album.
In 2009, Healey was inducted into the Terry Fox Hall of Fame. In June 2011, Woodford Park in Toronto was renamed Jeff Healey Park in his honor. In 2014, Healey was inducted into Canada's Walk of Fame. In September 2016, Jeff Healey was inducted into the Mississauga Music Walk of Fame.
In March 2016, the posthumous album Heal My Soul was released, followed by the companion album Holding On in December of the same year. Both records were compiled from unreleased recordings by Roger Costa. The 12-track Heal My Soul featured 6 covers and a number of collaborations with Marty Fredriksson, Arnold Lani and Stevie Salas.
The 15-track Holding On album contains 10 live tracks recorded in 1999 at the Rockefeller Music Hall in Norway and 5 studio tracks.
Illness and death. On January 11, 2007, Healey underwent surgery to remove metastatic tissue from both lungs. In the previous 18 months, he had 2 sarcomas removed from his legs. On March 2, 2008, Healey died of lung cancer in his hometown of Toronto at age 41. Healey's death came a month before the release of Mess of Blues, which was his first rock blues album in 8 years.
Thank you for watching. Brought to you by WikiVD Documentaries. Please like and subscribe below. Please like and subscribe below.